Okay, just on time. Perfect. You can address questions anytime in the chat or in the Q&A you see here. And we are also going to take live questions towards the end of the webinar. So as you can see here, the agenda for today, it includes a bit of more interactive parts from your side. We'd like not to become a background noise for the next couple of hours. So we'll start by asking you to let us know where you are listening from, so what country you are in. And just in one word in the chat, if you can tell us your project stage, like you're considering, you've started, you're submitted, you're almost done, anything that could define your current status. So to keep this fair, we are going to introduce ourselves as well. And I will start with Adrian from Inetum, project coordinator for Cosmic. Just a couple of words. Where are you from, Adrian?
So I'm from Madrid, Spain. I've been working at energy-related projects for the better part of 5 years. And now we're leading this beautiful project of Cosmic that we're all very excited about. Yeah, my background mostly has to do with AI development and energy time series forecasting.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. Alexander, a few words about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandre Lucas from Portugal. We are based in Porto, so our Inesc Tech headquarters, and I'm the responsible for the demand-side energy management area in our center. So digitalization and AI based tools play a huge role, as you can imagine. So looking forward to interact with you.
Thank you, Alexander. Stoyan?
Hello, I'm Stoyan Danov. I am from CIMNE, which is a public research center based in Barcelona, Spain. My background is engineering, so I work thermal engineering, but also I'm working on applications of ICT to energy efficiency, data-driven modeling, and AI in different applications, mainly related to energy and environment.
Okay, thank you, Stoyan. Afras, a couple of words.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So my name is Afras, and I'm from Belgium. And my organization is Celero. We are a research-based organization, and we are participating in this Cosmic project. My background is mainly in modeling and control of energy conversion system, large-scale energy systems, AI-based and also physics-based approaches we try to implement for the digitization of the buildings and also for overall energy system. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Agnieszka?
My name is Agnieszka Kosińska. I'm from Funding Box, so I'm supporting our partners with organizing this open call. I'm living in Jarosław. It's a small city in Poland, very close to the border with Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnieszka. Virgil?
Hi, I'm Virgil, also from Funding Box. I'm in charge of all marketing and dissemination, and I live in Tenerife.
Yeah, and I already said I'm Anka. I'm a project manager as well with Funding Box. We are based in Poland, Funding Box, but I live just 2 streets away from Virgil. We're not based in Tenerife, but it's the coincidence. I'm very happy to see this very wide spread across Europe from where you are applying or you are listening to us today. I'm sure the Commission will be very happy with our dissemination efforts. Okay, moving on to the agenda, we'd like to engage you in one more brief activity, and that is a poll that Virgil is going to launch. It has several questions that you will see there with various options for reply. It's just for us to see what is your status? What are your pain points? And when we get an overview of that, we'll see if we can tackle them during the call, during the webinar, or if there is something else that you would like to share with us, and you can still address it in the live Q&A. So while you are answering to the poll, I will pass the floor to Adrian to give us a brief overview of Cosmic. For some of you, it may not be news, but if someone is joining for the first time, we'd like to give you a bit of context. Adrian?
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming to this webinar. I hope this very productive for all of us, and that you get most of your doubts solved, and that we can get you on board into this fantastic project. I will go through a quick overview. For us, Cosmic is, as you see there, a European project funded by the Horizon Europe program. We aim to demonstrate how artificial intelligence and big data can drive the optimization of energy resources across industrial, urban, and residential sectors. But for us, the most important thing about this project is we're building this big tool set of AI-focused solutions that not only work for our pilots, but they also work in a replicable way for other pilots as well, and any other pilots that could come in the future. In Europe, we are now setting our minds towards the big innovations in AI. We are a bit behind, and we believe that with this kind of innovation hubs that we create, with the tool sets that we develop, that we can become better and stronger in the AI position in the world. We can move to the next slide. So our main course, one of our main objectives, one of our main tasks in the Cosmic project has to do with the open calls. As you can see from the push that we are doing through the dissemination. We are trying to select the new innovations that are around Europe and partners through these open calls. We try to bring people to the project to develop with us, and we give them the testing and integration of the different pilots and the different systems that we have available. But as well, and very important for us, is the scaling up for long-term impact. Make sure that the solutions are not just working in one set of conditions, one set of pilots, but they can be replicable outside of our scope of our project, and they can spark the imagination for many other solutions. I'll go to the next slide. In more specific terms, as we're talking about energy, of course, we are trying to move forward with innovations that result in the reduction of energy consumption and associated cost, new ecosystems that can be replicated, and as I said before, strengthening the leadership of AI in Europe. From a more metrics point of view, societal impact, trying to reduce the cost of energy, which has been increasing, and also strengthen the independence of the solutions by more than 10%. Reduction of the energy poverty. You will see, if you see the information of our different challenges, that we have many directly to people and trying to get them to reduce the poverty in the energy. Improve the resilience, of course, of over 20%. And also very important, the democratization of AI market. It's not only about replication, it's also about anybody who wants to get in the action and wants to use part of the solutions that we have developed, that they are able to get them. They're able to use them as maybe first steps on another solutions. So that democratization is also very important for us. Finally, as a big project overview of Cosmic, we are 21 partners. It's with a budget that goes beyond 10 million euros through the Horizon Innovation Action in 9 countries. We've just started, so we've begun early this year, but ending is end of 2027. So as I said, we're just getting started. but we are very focused and we have a lot of energy. And you see there the different use cases from industrial energy efficiency to circular economy that we try to build in this big tool set.
Thank you, Adrian. Before we move to the open call headlines, Agnieszka, I'd like to go back to the agenda for a few seconds. And Virgil, if you can share the poll results and see how we are doing at the beginning of the webinar, and if these questions still are unanswered towards the end. So what we are trying to see was if you have identified yourself correctly as one of the eligible applicants, SME or startup, and if you are not in one of these two situations, if you don't have one of these two statuses, then you are not eligible for the Cosmic Open Call. And then we just wanted to see if you had a look over the call documents and you have identified the challenges that best fit your solutions. And we can see here that there is high interest on some challenges, but overall, I think we're covering everything, which is very, very nice. The current TRL of your solution, again, this is an eligibility point. So we are encouraging applications from TRL 3 as a minimum. The solutions, the technology has to be as a minimum proof of concept when you apply. Okay, we have some I'm not sure replies. Maybe we can clarify that throughout the webinar today. And then biggest hold up to submitting, we're just wanting to see what is holding you back, what would be a pain point for you to submit the application, and hopefully we'll address some of these today. And if there are still open points, we can further discuss it through the help desk, or you can ask for one-on-one calls with our technical partners. Because I see the first one here is the alignment with the pilot and the CTF. And we see some of you have already completed, like half of you have already completed the core sections, and yeah, some have already submitted, which is great. And we see that in the numbers that we collect weekly. So the agenda, as you can see here, thank you all for answering. First of all, thank you all for answering to the poll. It's very good for us to have an overview of where we are at this date, 3 weeks, more than 3 weeks before the deadline. And we'll continue with the open call overview, as mentioned before. We'll then give the floor to 3 of the technical partners to present their idea of an ideal project, just for you to become more familiar with our expectations. And after that, we're going to talk about the strong proposal and do some application checklist, and even consider the evaluation process. We're going to share with you some of the most frequent asked questions and their answers, obviously, and also some insights on the status of the applications we received so far. So stay with us and get some first-hand information about what's happening right now in Cosmic Project Open Call. The project has a lot of other activities as well, but the open call is the one that we are focusing on today. So Agnieszka, if we can jump all the way to the OC1 overview, please. Okay, thank you. We have already checked, and you are pretty much aware that the call addresses SMEs and startups, only individual applications, no consortia, no teams. The applicants have to be from EU member states and associated countries to Horizon Europe. Your proposal needs to include a co-financing of at least 30% of the total project budget if you are a for-profit SME or startup. And we are looking to see solutions that propose data and AI-driven technologies or services aligned with Cosmic's objectives. We have designed a brief list of potential applicants, like your core business, but this is not a closed list. So basically, we could have applications from technology developers, AI providers, data and IoT experts, green tech innovators, companies in different sectors related to energy optimization. And you've seen in the poll, we are targeting starting point TRL3 for all challenges, and that is experimental proof of concept. And the aim is throughout the support program, the 10 months that we are going to work together to get to a minimum TRL6 or 7. TRL6 is technology demonstrated in relevant environment. You can find full definitions of TRLs in the technical guidelines and the frequently asked questions document on the application portal. So if you are still confused about the TRL, just send us a question in the help desk or write it here and we'll try to address it later. Next slide, please. At a glance, because this is something that we have seen very oftenly asked in the help desk, this is the relationship between the 17 challenges that were identified by the project partners and launched for this open call, the pilots, the 15 pilots that are included in COSMIC. So the proposals have to select one challenge, identify the specific pilot or pilots. You have that, as you can see here, you also have it in the technical guidelines further detailed, and the core technical facilitators who are partners from COSMIC assisting as mentors, but also with infrastructure and technology, the execution of your proposals. So this is just an overview. You'll have all the entire information. So when you are building your application, start from the challenge and move towards the pilots and the core technical facilitators. They are all there in the application form for you to select from. Next slide, please. Okay, so now that we've given you a bit of context and we don't want to repeat the information that has already been shared in the previous two events that we've had for this open call, we'll jump into some ideal project ideas from our technical partners. If you are not very familiar with the COSMIC open call, you can find the information on the application portal and the guide for applicants, the technical guidelines, where you have the exact structure and eligibility criteria as well as technical guidelines, and also the recordings and the slides from the previous webinars. So for ideal projects, we'll start with Alexander to tell us about what he sees as a good fit in the project for the first open call.
Thank you, Anka. First of all, I'm very glad to see such high participation and high interest in different or spread interest in the different challenges. And happy to see that there's also interest in the challenge that I'm going to give as an example. For the colleagues who are attending, I mean, take this challenge as an example, merely as an example, but what we would like to focus on is on the process, so that you can see how it applies to your challenge of interest. Of course, we have to focus on an example to talk about it. In our challenge that we are going to mentor and propose a use case for it, which is challenge 13, this is going to be applied to a renewable energy community in Porto city in Portugal. This renewable energy community at the moment includes 8 apartment blocks, so buildings plus 1 school. In total, it's about 187 households. And here we wanted to bring data from a different sector other than energy. So we are proposing to bring data from waste separation activity, and then see how we can include this into an example of a sector, which is energy. So we are going to use the data that we get from waste separation into the management of a renewable energy community. We can see in the next slide, if you could change it, that the goal here is the following. The candidate who is awarded with the funding will have to deploy sensors in the recycling bins. So at the moment, this renewable energy community has 8 recycling bins, so 2 for paper waste, 2 for glass waste, 2 for plastic, and 2 for organic waste. And the users of the renewable energy community that use these waste bins, they have a card. Today, they use it for the organic bins. We want to have visibility also in the recycling bins. So the users will use the same card and access these bins with the sensors that the company, awarded company, will deploy. There are some different solutions. We don't really care about what type of sensors it's deployed as long as it does the job. So this will be part of the requirement stage on defining what are exactly the variables that we want to monitor. But as long as we reach the end goal, which is to have visibility on the amount of waste that is separated in each of the bins, this is fine. Then the awarded company will have to ensure the communication through a gateway to a database that it has to be made available to INESC-TEC. This database that is populated with the data that we are getting from the sensors is the actual the core deliverable, because from this then we can develop many services. As you can see, if we build a layer of intelligence on the top of this database, we can do forecasting of the different waste types. We can develop different sustainability metrics that we've developed a methodology for this already, municipal performance reports, and so on. You can imagine that this can be very useful for different uses and can add value for different activities, such as the waste fleet scheduling, for example. So we didn't want to tie this solution to just one application. The use case will be the example of the application, but it can be applied to many more. So what is an ideal project in the end, given this example? It goes through these 5 steps that you see here in blue. We have a kickoff workshop, and there is this stage where we co-define these technical requirements. We have to talk about the variables, the time steps, how we share data. We have to talk about intellectual property rights, what we are going to release open source, or if there are solutions that we have to take care of due to some sensitivity issues. Then we have, once we define this, we have the next stage. So stage 1, which is the deployment of the actual sensors in the waste bins. We have a stage 2 then with the development and use of this data to develop AI models. And we have the testing with real live data during a defined period of time. And then we have a final review. Given that we end this testing phase, we revise the database, the models that have been developed, and the code, and how we intend to replicate, or how this can be replicated to other cities, to other use cases. So ideally, this is what we will go through. Just another slide, maybe to be even more clear about the flow. You can see here the type of sensors. This is just an example. There are many others. Don't take this as the final solution. You can see here in these pictures that these sensors can be installed on different types of bins. Given that the user taps his own card, then the sensor will recognize what was the volume that was deployed in each of the bins. And you have here on the bottom picture, we have different members belonging to the renewable energy community that use these bins. So we identify what are these users through an ID of the card. We have the sensors collecting this data. These sensors can communicate through LoRa or other IoT protocols with the gateway, and this gateway populates a database. With this database, this is the very valuable thing, and the main deliverable, because it's on the top of this database that we build the different services. Here, we want to develop a sustainability indicator based on the waste separation to build a ranking, and this ranking will influence the allocation factor of the energy that is distributed through the renewable energy community members. This is one that we want to use. But this, in ESCTech, as mentors and technical partners here, we will integrate this with our technology, which is a renewable energy community, to make this happen. So your goal will be to provide this database and help us with some AI services, and then we take care of showing this and integrating into the renewable energy community managing platform. So these are the steps. I hope it was clear, but feel free to pose any questions in the chat or to email us to clarify any pending issues. We have a second example, and I would pass the floor to the next colleagues. Yeah.
Thank you, Luca. So in the second example, as you can see, the second example related to the challenge 7 that we already explained in the booklet is for the user-friendly smart app for energy system monitoring in multi-story buildings. And it is associated to the pilot 5, which is Thomas and Biron. It's a private sector building in Belgium. And through this pilot, we have access to the data of 200 apartment buildings. And this pilot has a digital twin, which is already developed in CTF4, which can be seen here. So the CTF already exists that contains all the relevant data of these apartments in Nivelles. And the core idea is this, that we have to, this challenge has two sub-challenges, as we discussed before in the previous session as well, that one target is to develop a smart app for the end users which are there in the apartments, and also to develop another app for the managers and for the meter calibration. So what an ideal proposal that we look forward is this, that the TRL level to start by the SME, it should be around 3, and then it will end at 7. And the specific solution that we look forward is this, that there should be some methodology and methods clearly defined about how the AI based methods will be implemented to generate some alert based on the previous consumption, and also that their solution would be really engage the end user in order to reduce their energy consumption through a proper gamification app. So these are the solution which we look forward, managing dashboard, then an app, and for the OCR module, like for calibration of the meters, what we will provide some basic example to learn the AI, and then the second challenge would be is the better calibration and database management for this sub challenge. So this is what for the solution specificity. And regarding the scalability and impact, that the AI-driven solution that SME we're going to propose should have impact, like how much energy will be reduced. For example, if user will play the game, what kind of a reward they will have, the points, how these point mechanism would be managed in their app, and also because there are different part of challenges which also have this kind of a forecasting and based on the energy demand. So the solution should be scalable so that it can be adapted to other challenges as well. That's pretty much about the scalability and impact. And regarding the collaboration and deliverables, as my colleague mentioned before, we have to plan a first kickoff meeting, a workshop to standardize the data, some kind of a proof of concept we want to see from the SME side as well. And then there are other deliverables that will be provided in the coming months. But ideally, when the solution will be deployed, the TRL would be increased from 3 to 7. So that's pretty much about this example. The details are already there in the booklet, which is provided on the platform. And now I will pass to my colleague for the third example. Thank you.
Hello, so I will continue with the third example, which goes a bit about the challenge of full resource consumption forecast. So we'll briefly explain what the challenge is and what our aim is, to then explain a bit of the procedures and what we're looking for. So in this case, I've chosen this one as well because it's a very data-centric example. Here, AI is all over the place. It's not only all over the place, it's the main focus of the challenge. So we have here forecasting models, and we want to develop the methodology and the algorithms for forecasting for real-time resources. Provided that there's going to be historical data for the resource in particular that we want to forecast. Of course, access to weather information, to exogenous information that has nothing to do, let's say, with whether it is energy or resources that we want to predict. And we want to make the models based on that data. Go to the next slide, please. So just to focus on what we're looking for in the proposal, and again, this is very data-centric, so it's very important for us, especially, that there is a strong AI architecture. We will be focusing mostly on the experience already gained in past experiences, but also the strength and the innovation behind the different methodologies presented. Here you can see a couple of examples of things we have been playing with. As I said before, I've been developing systems for the better part of 5 years. There's that knowledge that we want to incorporate into the project, but also having the new innovations coming through different processes. We have there, for instance, our typical example of what the engine of the forecasting engine could look like. With the reference time series, the processing happening, different exogenous variables to make up predictor features that then goes into the training of a complicated AI model with the weather time series forecasting as well. But that is just the very basic. Let's say if you go a little bit in depth of what we're looking for, you can see there the graph on the right that goes through what it will be a basic pipeline for forecasting, from the initial data, gathering information for the time report, the processing and pre-processing of the data, the training with different methodologies, cross-modeling, and finally an explainable AI feature. Because this challenge is not only about as we are building towards the AI, we don't just want to know or have the best model, but also having technologies and implementations that allows us to understand why the model is predicting the way it's predicting. And finally, very, very important, and I think the key element to all of this is that it is highly replicable. So the methodology, the innovations coming into this challenge, they have to do mostly of how it's able to morph the algorithms for the different resources that will be available. You have there in the previous slide, we had the different pilots that will be requiring this, but we will be requiring even more. We will have even more data for you to play with, so that the forecasting elements are not just working for one environment, but they are very adaptable. Finally, I have recapped all of this in the next slide, in which we mock, let's say, the 3 core elements that we're looking for in a strong proposal for this type of challenge: the strong AI foundation, the upgrade in TRL, and the explainable AI. For the part of the AI foundation, we're looking forward to have tested forecasting engines already working in different sectors. I put there the example of energy environments, innovative procedures in pipelining. So it's not just going through the, let's say, customary motions of processing, training, but there are some loops in there that allows us to retrain and rework and look at the metrics of the model. On the part of the replicability side of the TRLs, it's very important for us, that second part: quick integration, small adaptation. That it's almost like Lego pieces being able to fit different designs very quickly and very easy to use, of course. Finally, on the part of the explainable AI, because for us, I also feel like sometimes it's the great unknown in most of the AI models. As we know that this is a very data-centric approach to this challenge. It's not all about forecasts. It's also about information that we can gather from forecast to maybe even after the fact. So not part of the challenge, but after the facts allows us to think of, instead of predictive actions, to think of preventive actions. And finally, also very important, the resource management of computing assets. This is something that we're still investigating on ourselves, but it's about, if we think of AI as a helpful guide to reduce energy consumption, it should be also pointed out the energy consumption that AI requires, so that it's not we lose something and we gain something and we're balanced out, but that there's also consideration for the different algorithms and different methodologies that require us to think of how much energy we're using, how many resources we really require to not only to put this in production, but also so that the energy saved is not the energy expended in the AI efforts. Finally, from our mentoring side, we also want to let you know that we all have experience in these fields, and we're also developing this. So most of these fields, we expect a kind of ping pong approach to this sort of designs and this sort of challenges, meaning having information coming in of the procedures, and we have feedback from that procedure, and having that ping pong analysis, so that it's not just one person talking and one person listening, but there is a conversation in the development.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Afras. I can see there are a lot of questions already, and we are very happy about it. All the technical partners will be with us to the end of the webinar, and we are going to address each question in the live Q&A. Okay, so now we are going to continue with what we believe are some tips for you to build a strong proposal. So irrespective of the stage you are at right now, if you are considering or you have just submitted, you can still take advantage of these tips that we are sharing. And if submitted, you can go back and edit if you get an idea from us that you think might help your proposal, or you can just use them when you elaborate the proposal from scratch. So before looking at some of the recommendations that we have, just a reminder, or maybe first time you hear from some of you, on the application page that I'm going to share here in the chat for everyone to have it, you will find the application form online, which is the only tool through which to submit your proposal. We do not accept any other proposals by any other means. As you can see here, there are several fields, several stages that you need to fill in. And the application form is meant to cover every aspect of the evaluation and selection process. So you'll have to provide general information, details on the eligibility and fit, the budget, upload the Gantt, and so on. You have instructions for each of these steps and for each of these sections in the guide for applicants, where you'll also read about the eligibility conditions. You'll see the ideal projects that we shared and the evaluation process. While the technical guidelines, which is a very, very important document, is where you'll find details and exact relationship between the challenges, the 17 challenges that are to be addressed in this call, the pilots, 15 pilots in Cosmic, and the CTFs, 10 of them from 1 to 10. These are just core technical facilitators. That is what CTF stands for. And they are partners, project partners, assisting with infrastructure and mentoring the execution of the third parties, which are you, the applicants. So these are the guidelines for you to know where to apply and what documents to read thoroughly before starting the application and during the writing of the proposal. The core of the application form, the part that tells us your story, like who you are, where you are right now with your technology, your solution, what are your objectives by applying to Cosmic, how do you fit within the Cosmic scope and outcomes, who is your team, what resources are you involving in this proposal if you get selected in the support program. So these 3 sections, excellence, impact, implementations, are the ones that are being scored and the ones evaluated by independent evaluators. And these, as I said, are the core parts, and you need to make sure that they are very well described within the indications that we give in the application form and the supporting documentation, but also aligned with the other sections of the application form. So our recommendation here, when you are filling in within the excellence part, you have 3 different questions. When you fill in that part, just focus on the ambition of your proposal, keep it real, but ambitious at the same time. What makes you different from other proposals, from other companies out there? Clearly identify the one challenge. Okay. I think Agnieszka lost her connection. I'm gonna share it. No worries. But you still hear me, right? Because I thought I was frozen.
Yeah. Well,
No worries, Agnieszka. Yeah, I'll share it. Do you have stable connection? Take it from there?
I hope yes. So I will share it once again. I'm sorry, I don't know what.
No worries. These things happen. Okay, so I was talking about the excellence part. Okay, it's important to select that one challenge, just one per proposal. You can submit up to 3 proposals with 3 different challenges. That means 3 times the opportunities to get selected, but just once the money. So only the best of your 3 proposals with 3 different challenges can be selected for funding, but the chances increase by 3. So going back to the slide here at hand, we're not there yet, but the excellent part was about the challenge and the pilot or pilots. You'll see that some of the challenges are being employed in various pilots and are supported by various CTFs. why your approach is right for it, why your technology, your solution is the one that we are looking for in this open call, and the novelty, tie novelty to measurable benefits. Okay, when you tell us what you are bringing with your solution, just make sure that you underline the benefits for us as well, the benefits for the pilots and for the project as a whole. As a recommendation, again, avoid generic. I'm not at impact, I'm still at the excellence. One back, please. Oh, here, we made it. Okay, so avoid buzzwords and general considerations, which tell everyone, us, internal evaluators and external evaluators, that you haven't really read the call and call documentation and you don't know the project. Be explicit where possible, and add examples for outcomes and everything that don't be afraid to use numbers and data that you have at reach. In the next slide and the next section of the application form deals with impact. So here we expect to see the problem that you address with your solution, the users. We say here who hurts, how often, and how much. Okay, so when you tell us about your technology, make sure that you let us know how you are making these users' problems disappear by employing your solution. Your edge versus competition, we are also looking for differentiators. So you can consider using KPIs, or if it's not the case, just baseline numbers regarding accuracy, speed, cost, integration, and they are very closely tied to the challenge and the pilot context. Again, in the impact, we do expect to see some KPIs like where you are right now when writing the proposal and what is your target. Here you can employ KPIs in terms of energy, time. Show one before and one after metric per KPI. This would be very supportive to understand, again, connected to the excellence part, to understand your ambition, but also how realistic you are to get there in 10 months' time. The Green Deal link, we have questions regarding the Green Deal objectives that your proposal tackles. So make sure that you select one or several Green Deal objectives that you find fit, and throughout the impact section, the questions you have in the impact section, you make that connection between the Green Deal that you selected above in the application form and your descriptive part here. And there's also the citizen European dimension part, which is not to be overlooked because this is a European funded project. We get money from the Commission and we spread it to SMEs and startups. So it's important that we tackle the European dimension. You can mention here accessibility, inclusion, skills, safety, whatever is most appropriate for your proposal. The third part will be implementation, and here we expect to learn about your team capabilities, the resources you are employing during the execution, and this has to be fairly distributed during the 10-month support program. So consider the duration of the support program, the ambition, the outcomes, and how you are using your resources to get there. Everything has to be aligned. You can name your team members and detail their track record, their experience. Another important aspect is that you make sure that you align the resources to the tasks in the Gantt. You have a Gantt template for the 10-month support program where you can describe the work packages and tasks. But we expect here to see that your resources are aligned to those tasks and you have actually considered who's going to be involved and how in the 10-month support program. In the resources committed, you have the opportunity in this part of the application to tell us more about the PMs involved, the equipments, the facilities, the tools, the networks. This has to be connected to the budget that you'll fill in later in the application form. So if you are talking that you have a team of 5 people that will be working partially during the 10 months, we expect to see that in the budget reflected as well. If you are a for-profit, this is the only part of the application form where we ask you to demonstrate the 30% co-financing. You don't need to include any supporting documents or any financials at this stage, but it's important that you demonstrate your commitment and capacity to support the work. If you are a for-profit, if you're not for-profit, then it doesn't apply because you are financed 100% of your total budget, limited to 150,000 euros grant. In the next slide, as already mentioned, there is a very important correlation that you have to keep in mind. So the sections of the application form don't work separately, and you cannot treat them as parts that just fall into pieces. They have to be correlated in order for the proposal to be coherent. And in the case of the budget, the content, the outcomes, this is where you have the best chance to reflect it. The budget categories you'll see in the application form are personnel, travel, equipment, subcontracting other goods like works and services, and overhead. Some categories are calculated automatically. Some others you'll have to fill in the numbers and be coherent in your estimation with the grant and the resources. When you talk about personnel, you have to estimate the person months that you are going to employ in the project, if it's a partial dedication or a full dedication to the project, and their estimated costs. In the travel part, we estimate that we may have to ask you to travel at least twice during the 10 months or maximum 4 times. Those travels may be for the kickoff, for example, when we start the support program, or they can be at review meetings if we do physical review meetings with the PO and the reviewers, or maybe at one of the pilot sites. It's important that you estimate travels in your budget. Subcontracting is limited to 15%, and it has to be justified. So again, in the implementation part, when you talk about resources, you can talk about your team and then briefly mention that we don't have this service or we don't have this piece of equipment, and we are going to contract someone who has it and helps us with the deployment. And that has to be complementary to your main tasks and not substitute your activities in the project, okay? The overheads are computed per rule, so it's 25%, and this is self-calculated in the application form. And again, as said in the implementation part, this is because the budget itself is just figures and brief descriptions, but in the implementation fields, you can talk about how you correlate the resources to the budget. In the next slides, we are going to talk about an application checklist, like what we think you should have in mind when you think you are done with the proposal or throughout drafting the proposal, what aspects you should be really considerate about, and how we usually see the evaluators, the independent evaluators, scoring and evaluating proposals. So these are 2 slides that are going in deep details. Before that, I'm going to give you a bit more context again for those of you who are at this webinar for the first time. Regarding eligibility and ground rules, the application form has said it's only available online. The proposal has to be submitted before the 27th, before 5 o'clock on the 27th of October. That is more than 3 weeks from now. There's still plenty of time for you to fine-tune your proposal or to start one from scratch. Only English in these sections of the proposals. You can write it in other languages. We're not going to translate it and evaluate it. You have to be specific about this work being yours and clear IPR status. The companies that are in difficulty, bankruptcy, or don't have healthy finances, they will apply and they can apply, but we are doing a formal check later on to those selected applicants. So if you know you are in one of these situations, better not waste your time, because you may get as far as the pre-selected list, and then we'll do the legal check and you will not sign a sub-grant agreement with us. We do accept multiple submissions from the same SME or startup, but it has to be to 3 distinct challenges, as I said, and only the highest scored will be funded. If multiple submissions to the same challenge, we are going to evaluate just the last one in order of time submitted. We also check for conflicts of interest. You'll see on the project website every partner and every pilot involved in Cosmic. So if you know that you have a sort of relationship with anyone, better to check with us in the help desk, and we'll let you know if it's a conflict of interest and maybe not waste time submitting the proposal if it's the case. And also you'll see in the guide the acceptance of all rules. They are very explicitly detailed there. Some other details for you to consider, and again in the guide for applicants, you'll see the full explanations on the stages. The evaluation and selection, just as soon as the call ends on the 27th of October, we'll start with the eligibility check. And this is an initial review of your proposal where we check that mandatory fields are filled in. The online form wouldn't let you anyway to submit unless you filled in the mandatory fields. But we do check that English is the language of the proposal, and that the application meets basic eligibility and admissibility criteria, mostly based on your self-declaration, because towards the end of the application form, you have to check a lot of boxes that are your self-declaration. We do not do a legal check here. So those eligible applications will move on to the in-out of scope, and this is done by project partners internally. They form the selection committee, and they are going to read through the applications and determine if your proposal is aligned to the Cosmic scope and objectives. So if that step is also completed successfully, the list of in-scope applications will move on to the independent evaluation, where we involve 3 external experts, and they are the ones scoring the proposals on those criteria that I mentioned before with the sections excellence, impact, and implementation. In the guide for applicants, you know exactly how they are going to look at these criteria, what are the aspects that they are looking for. So do read the guide and keep this part open when you are writing the proposal. So we have a ranking list after this evaluation, because this is where the scoring happens. And again, the project partners meet and they decide on the proposals, the top ranked, but also those the selection committee may decide to ensure a widespread of proposals across the challenges. So we will decide on the 40 shortlisted applicants to be invited to the jury day. The jury day is a sort of pitching competition online where 40 applicants with the best proposals will be telling their storyline in front of the jury. So get all the help you need to submit a proposal, but make sure you know what you've written and you are ready to pitch it and present it in front of a jury, actual people. So after this jury day, 20 beneficiaries will be selected to join the support program, the 20 best proposals, and they will be starting the legal and formal check, where we ask for documentation to confirm the SME startup status and healthy finances, as I said. They are going to sign a sub-grant agreement with the project partners and join the support program for the following 10 months. So this being said, regarding the context and the selection process, as an indicative checklist, we have gone through the application form, the core part of it, not the self-declaration or the communication part of the form, which is also included, but that is for you just to tick boxes and read carefully the information that we are asking about, because that's your self-declaration. But this application checklist is for us to help you a bit more. It doesn't establish eligibility or admissibility thresholds or guarantees the selection for funding. You have to rely on the official call documents, and do remember that this is not a guarantee for a successful application, but evaluations are going to be conducted independently against the criteria that you see in the guide. So here, when you do like your self-check, when it comes to the TRL level, for example, in the fit section of the application form, if we don't see a TRL 3 or above, that's not an eligible application for us. For the challenges, you can only select one. The system doesn't let you select several, but if in the descriptive part you start combining challenges and talking about specificities from different challenges, and you're not very coherent how that challenge aligns to the CTF and the pilot, then it can come across as a vague application and score less. Go to market and scaling. Again, I mentioned before, this is something that you will have to explain what is your starting point and what is your ambitions, where you have to go. As Adrian explained, we place a great deal of importance on scalability and replicability. So make sure you include some words on what makes your solution portable. Green Deal contribution, this is a drop-down list. You can select several, but again, connect it in the descriptive sections. Make sure you touch upon it. We've talked about excellence, the three questions that you have there: ambition, innovation, methodology. Explain the outcome in your own words. How is it feasible in 10 months? Make sure that what you propose has an innovative component to it. And when you talk about methodology, think about the benefits to the pilot, who gains what and when. For the impact, you have 4 different questions which are related to market, competition, strategy, and the environmental and social impact. So here is where we expect to see more KPIs, more numbers, who, where, how often, when you talk about the market potential. If you have any evidence, again, you don't be afraid to use numbers and data. Direct, indirect dimension from the competitions, how you are different, how you are aligned with the cosmic goals. And for the environmental and social impact, make sure that you talk about measurable, not rhetorical aspects, KPIs even. So implementation has 2 questions, team and resources. And here again, you can talk about your team, the one that you are going to involve in the project, how their expertise is relevant to the purpose of the project, and what is your proposed work plan, aligned with the Gantt that you are going to download as a template and upload after you have completed it. The total budget will be calculated automatically based on the costs that you put in the 6 categories that I talked before, and the requested support, whether you are a for-profit and you can only get 70% of the total budget, or if you are a not-for-profit and you get 100%, in either cases, it cannot exceed 150,000 euros. So again, the checklist is orientative and you don't have to use it yourself. You will have it in the slides. If it's supportive, do have a look over it, and maybe it helps you structure your general idea. When it comes to the evaluation part, what I didn't mention before is that at each of the 5 stages of selection that you've seen before, we are going to communicate the results to all applicants, okay? So in the case of the external evaluation, every applicant who has reached that stage will get an email and they can see the scoring and the comments provided by the experts. This is the first call. We are going to have a second call with different challenges, possibly. So whatever comments and feedback you receive, if your proposal was below the threshold or rejected at some stages, you can benefit from it and improve it for the second call. So the evaluators usually look at the coherence of the entire application and how every section falls into place and clearly identifies the objectives of the project and how they align to those objectives. Okay, so the challenge choice has to be really, really clearly detailed. Nothing like a solution that fits everything. Like if you have a software that it might be a good fit and you present the same proposal through all open calls, Funding Box and others, it may not be a very good idea, and the score will reflect it. The approach has to be credible, so the evaluators look at the specific objectives, not the generic narrative, as I said, and the plan that you suggest is aligned with the CTF and the pilots. For impact, you have a good market logic and a Green Deal link. The market needs and who benefits are quantified or evidenced where possible, and you have indicative KPIs with how they'll be measured. This shows that you understand the project and you know your solution and how it fits with the project. And again, for the implementation, the team has to be consistent with what you want to do in the project, with the activities and the tasks that you detail in the Gantt, and the ambition you have is feasible for a 10 months duration. Like you don't have to be over ambitious, because we all know that it's a 10 months program, and you may start with the best intentions, but we can tell it's not doable in 10 months, and that may result in a lower score. So for the evaluation here, for each of the 3 criteria, the evaluators will score between 0 and 5 and provide comments. There's a threshold per criterion, which has to be 3 or above, and the overall one has to be 10 or above. Your aim is to reach as close to 15 in overall as possible. Again, you'll have the slides available, and you can have a look at this evaluation slide, which summarizes the typical reviewer's focus, but this is not exhaustive, prescriptive, or binding, and must not be interpreted as advice on how to secure funding. Proposals are individuals, and they are going to be evaluated at an individual level independently by external evaluators. Next slide, please. I've mentioned this several times throughout the slides that I've presented, so I'm not going to insist anymore on all of them, but again, be clear about your current TRL and show the path to TRL 6 and 7 by project end. Clarify ownership and usage rights of your technology or data. Show measurable benefits for EU citizens, industries, and ecosystems. Avoid using percentages like we are going to reach, I don't know what percentage of consumption reduction, but you don't have a baseline to start with. So avoid doing that. Don't rely on third parties, even if you feel more confident applying right now with someone who complements your expertise or technologies as a subcontractor below 15%. Don't rely on them for main tasks. And don't select multiple challenges or be vague on the scope. In the next slides, we are sharing with you the actual status of applications in Cosmic as of today. So you see, these counts are indicative. Every single one of the 17 challenges is addressed by at least one applicant. We have some very popular ones, as you can see here, challenges 8, 10, 15. The selection remains merit-based, although as I said, at the selection committee level, we do aim to have a balanced portfolio across challenges. So if this is some indication for you of where is less competition, just take in this slide and consider your strategy. The slides will be available after that as well. Okay, so Cosmic has started strong from day one, and Agnieszka can hardly manage all the questions that we get in the help desk. We hope everyone got an answer. We did pick a few most asked questions, and here are some very quick answers to those. So you'll see them in the FAQ document, but for you to live with the information as well today. A startup in Cosmic, we are taking this general definition at EU level, where a startup has fewer than 10 employees, more than 2 full-time equivalent though, and they have been operating for less than 3 years. They may have some financial capabilities as well that they can look for in order to determine if they are a startup, but generally this is what defines a startup. An SME, on the other hand, is more clear because this is the definition from the Commission. It has to have a headcount less than 250 annual work units. The annual turnover has to be less than 50 million euros, or the annual balance sheet total less than 43 million euros. Technology readiness level, we get questions like, what is the TRL for this challenge? It's the same. For all 17 challenges, the proposal has to start from TRL 3 and move towards TRL 6 and 7 within 10 months. A lot of people are asking if they can apply as a consortium of 2 SMEs. Short answer, no. Only individual SMEs and startups can apply. You can subcontract, as we said, limited to 15%. Another question we get is if they can come with their own use case. We are glad you have customers or use cases where you could deploy the technology, but the focus has to be on the pilots in Cosmic for the 10-month support program. But this is very good for you and for us as well, because it shows replicability and scalability. But for Cosmic, stick to the pilots. We have 15 of them. I'm sure you can find at least one. Can co-financing be covered as own personal contribution in kind? Yes, the 30% co-financing can be covered by in-kind contributions. We are paying lump sum. This means we don't ask for financial documents, for invoices, timesheets, or contracts to give you the tranche of money corresponding to each stage of execution. We check deliverables and we pay against reaching milestones and completion of KPIs. So in-kind can be part of your personal cost, can be covered by the 30% in-kind. Is it possible to involve partners and suppliers as subcontractors? As we've mentioned this, it's yes. Avoid subcontracting main activities. Not only it can be scored lower, but it could become a problem in execution as well. Any specific documentation required to prove SME startup status? No, during the application process, we rely on your self-declaration, but if you get selected and you have some things that are not very clear, you may get rejected during the legal check. And finally, what is a non-profit SME or startup? Because those get financed 100%. It's an entity which either by its legal form is declared as non-profit making, or which has a legal or statutory obligation not to distribute profits to its shareholders. So if you're sharing dividends at the end of the year, then you're a for-profit, 70% is your co-financing rate. And I think I have 2 more slides before I pass the word to Stoyan. I've taken a lot of the time. So we really want to highlight that there's a lot of money, 150,000 euros available for the 20 selected beneficiaries. However, there is the whole package that makes this money even more attractive in our perception. It's the mentoring process, the mentoring program with the 10-month support, where you have technical and business mentors from high-profile companies in Europe, universities, institutions, and this can translate into long-term benefits for any SME or startup. The 15 large-scale pilots that we involve in the project across Spain, Belgium, Portugal, France, Ireland, and Finland are your test beds. So you not only get the money, but you only get access to data and infrastructure at no cost. And you can iterate and reiterate your solution and get to the results that you would like by the end of the 10 months within the context of the project and the resources of Cosmic. And then the validation within this pilot gives you the opportunity to boost your market readiness and have a solution that would be a TRL3 now would be ready for you to take you to new markets or existing markets. And this is the package that we think is very attractive within the support program that Stoyan is going to present. You'll see that we have stages where we involve from the first day, from the kickoff, we involve mentors to assist with the individual mentoring plan. And this is not just advice, this is hands-on guidance. The business mentoring I would like to focus on because this is the part that helps you with the exploitation beyond TRL 6 or 7. And they give the business mentors will give you practical next steps, not just theory, through a lean acceleration program that will consist in a value proposition, buyer persona, and customer journey, and business models. So all this together with the milestone reviews where you'll get some input from the technical partners on what you can do better, the synergy workshop that we plan for the beneficiaries to share joint exploitation paths and refine their business models, as well as the outputs, the input that you get that can improve the outputs that you foresee for your proposal. All this, as I said, make up for the Cosmic financial and support package. And I'll leave Stoyan tell you a bit more about what happens after you get selected. You have passed all the selection process stages, the formal check, and you have signed a sub-grant agreement with us, so you can embark in the support program. Stoyan?
Yes, thank you, Anka. So the support program is what it says, is to support the SMEs in the development of their projects. So it has different phases. So the objective of this is to first set up clear individual plans together with the mentors, to co-work them, to define, to precise clearly the different outputs, milestones, and over which these projects will be assessed. And then over this process, they will receive mentoring and will be accompanied by our technical partners here. And finally, the objective is to these technically evolved solutions to be prepared for next exploitation. So with help to create feasible business plans. So each of the participants will be assigned a mentor from one of the technical organizations that are listed here. So this means that probably will not always be one person, but the mentor is the organization. So and this assignment will be done depending on the necessities, on the challenge, on the CTFs, and on the pilots. But this will be done in the first, when you are signing the grant agreement and assign the project. These technical mentors has have their role is to help the SMEs design their mentorship program. So this program is co-designed and co-worked in the beginning, and then they will review the progress, revise the milestones, and provide feedback or corrective plans if needed. Well, thank you. Next slide, please. Here is the you can see the different stages of the 10-month supporting program. So they are throughout the whole your contract period. So the first stage is consists of is the first month, where the individual mentoring plan and the proof of concept, meaning the different deliverables, KPIs, requirements that you have to prove, with which you are proving the development of the work, are defined. So this is a period in which you interact with your mentor and co-design, define specific deliverables and KPIs over which your success will be assessed. And the project ends with signing, officially signing of this individual mentoring plan and the different metrics. So after this, the process continues with the development of the solution. So with the next 3 months, where the aim is to develop the first alpha version of the solution that is aligned with the implementation mentoring plan. So this in this period you can develop this in your premises. You can interact with the mentors in this. And this project, when the solution is already working autonomous, then we go to the third stage, which is also 3-month stage, where the solution will be tested and validated in the pilot environment. So it is very important that to take into account that we require solutions that are integrated with the core technical facilitators, with the CTFs at the pilot. And the reason for this is that we have a second round as well of solutions. So what we are searching is a broader response to challenges. So your solutions should be integrated with the CTFs, because in this way we will enable broader use cases. So your solutions will in the future be able to interact with other solutions. For example, solutions that target optimization of some aspects. For example, I'm referring to our use case in the wastewater treatment plants for digesters, for example. They will be integrated further in a broader, let's say, factory optimization of the wastewater treatment plant. So that is the reason for which this solution should be integrated within the CTFs. So after this, here again, each stage will undergo its evaluation, and will be concluded with a report and verification of the KPIs. Once we have gone through this technical validation is finalized, we're in the last stage. The SMEs will receive business support and help for developing their exploitation plans. So the idea is to prepare them for their further development and go to market. So here, next slide, please. Here in this slide, we're showing you the tentative timeline. So as we are, this is our plan. So the first stage will start on March. So and the whole support program will finalize in December if everything goes according to the plan. So, but if we do not have any issue with the selection or it's necessary to enlarge some of the parts, so this might change. But yeah, this is our plan for now. So each of the stages, the payment is scheduled, so you do not receive it all at once. So it is received after approval of each stage. So, and here you can see the different percentages, how this support is spread. So upon delivering and concluding the mentoring plan and signing it, you will receive 10% of the grant. So the next 40% will be disclosed when your alpha version is developed and approved. So at stage 3, when the solution is integrated with the CTFs and validated in the pilot, we'll disclose the next 30%. And finally, after concluding the business support stage, you will receive the last funding.
Okay,
Well,
great.
you.
Thank you so much, Stoyan.
We will answer if you have any doubts. We will answer you in the final stages interactively or in our question and answer section. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have quite a few questions, and hopefully we'll get through them by the end of the webinar. So I'm going to ask all the partners to go to the Q&A here and have them open in front of your eyes. I will start from the top ones, address those that are more like eligibility and application conditions, and would need you to address those that become more technical. Yeah, we'll try to keep the answers within 1 minute. Thank you, Virgil. You've done the math. We have 30 minutes, 40 questions. Okay. I'm gonna do better than 1 minute. Are UK startups eligible to apply? Yes, UK is associated countries for this program. How many applications can one entity submit? Mentioned up to 3, 1 individual proposal per challenge. Okay, so make sure you have 3 challenges, 3 proposals. What does CSF stand for? First part of the question, CSF is Core Social Facilitator. You'll find them associated to some of the challenges. They are assigned with user engagement and user-centric design. So they focus on supporting projects by using social science expertise to ensure that solutions are user-centric by design. So you'll see in the drop-down list, you have SCF as well. There was a second part of the question. Yeah, I'll go to answer it. Core social facilitators are defined in the technical guidelines, and you'll see the challenges they are associated with. Is there a funding rate that applies to each company, or does each project get 150? No, the funding rate is 70% for profits, 100% for non-profit, capped at 150. So your total budget is the one that you feel that you need to execute everything that you propose in the application. But when you fill in the budget, you'll see, irrespective of the amount you accumulate in total budget, you are capped to 150. It can be below that, of course, if that is your estimate, but you will never get funding more than 150,000 euros. Next question is for one of the technical partners, because it's about energy optimizations by means of optimizing the software performance, and they couldn't identify relevant CTF.
Well, probably you're proposing here your own project, but you have to take into account that you should make a proposal to one of the challenges. So, and normally each challenge is related with CTFs, so in the documentation. So I suppose that here it is not let's say an open call in the sense that it is open to any topic. So you should target one of the challenges. So if you target the challenge, there are CTFs associated with each challenge.
Exactly. Agnieszka, if you can share the at a glance we have here in the slides, but this also connects to the next question. Thank you, Stoyan. To the next question, which is about core technical facilitators. You have the definition in the technical guidelines to the call documents. And how should we demonstrate alignment with them? As you'll see here in this overview, when you identify the challenge, I would say that is, as Stoyan mentioned, that is your starting point, right? The challenge is very well described, and you can see the fit with your solution, your technology. And once you have selected the challenge, you'll see that each challenge is applied to a pilot or several pilots. And for each challenge within the pilot, you have a CTF offering infrastructure solutions mentoring. So you don't have to really start with the CTF and try to figure out which one is appropriate for you. You just have to know exactly what challenge you are addressing.
Yeah, Anka, maybe
Yes, please.
Can I complement? These CTFs can be understood as existing tools. They are existing tools, software platforms that will use your developments in order to demonstrate it in real life. So if you develop a microservice that can integrate either an energy management system, a renewable energy community platform, these ones already exist. You develop it as a microservice, then we integrate it into the CTF in order to demonstrate it into real life. That's why we have also the mentors and these technical partners, in order not only to help you throughout your developments and to support you in everything that you need, but also then to ensure this integration into real life demonstration.
Okay.
Yeah, please, Rebecca.
Yes, for example, this probably might be a bit of confusion. So CTF one is are tools for harmonization of data or so, and CTF2 is big data analytics framework. So in this case, CTF2 you will not be asked directly to work with this. It's somehow part of our work to adapt your CTFs, but you should take into account that you should cooperate in this and should foresee some effort of adaptation in order to facilitate this integration into these CTFs. For example, your solution should be conceived in a way that should contemplate this integration. Oh, and also, yeah, you will have to reserve some resources for on your site for this at stage 3, basically.
Okay,
But
so
this doesn't imply that you will need the whole knowledge of on these CTFs and have to struggle with their technical details. So these are existing systems, and you will have support for that. So, and this will be clarified in the first stage in the implementation plan. So we're going to be reasonable, and yeah, we are fully aware that this is a program of 10 months, which by itself is very challenging. So our demands will be realistic in this sense.
that's a very nice reassurance, Stoyan. And to address the second part of the question, I think what you're saying is that an application does not need to target all relevant CTFs. Like if they have several CTFs for challenge or for pilot chosen, they can briefly make the connection to some of them, but not all of them. Okay. Yeah. We have a question regarding Challenge 11, and I'm not very sure if we have anyone for Challenge 11 here. I don't remember what Challenge 11 is. Then we have
This
a
is
look in the
district
technical
heating,
guidelines.
district
It's
heating
pipe leak detection,
network.
right?
Yeah. Fault detection, so leak detection.
Oh, is that would be you, Alexander?
No.
No. Okay, let's look at the question.
But the question is, must reach at least TRL 5 within 10 months.
6, TRL 6. At least TRL 6.
Yes, that's why they are asking.
Okay, what expected TRL? It's the same, TRL 3, minimum 6 at the end of the support program. Okay, we knew this one. Thank you, Alexander. I didn't read it through. Are there already existing data collection systems, or should we foresee it in the budget? How can we access information on which data are being collected?
I think that in general data sets exists, but when it is necessary to collect some data, this is also indicated in the challenge. So I think that Alexander, in his case, challenge 13, so already mentioned that there is a data collection foreseen there. But mainly for most of the challenges, data sets exist.
Okay, anyone would like to add anything to this one, to this reply? Okay, we have a technical question next, the link to the survey. I don't think we have that. It was launched straight live in Zoom, but not saying that you didn't miss anything, but it was not assisting you with the proposal. And the second part of the question, yes, we are going to share the slides. Can you explain what do you mean by CTF with different numbers? Yes, we have core technical facilitators from 1 to 10, and all of them are defined and explained in the technical guidelines. We employ 10 different CTFs, core technical facilitators from different partners in COSLIC. Does the project scope need to be for consumer solutions, or can it also be for facility solutions?
Well, as defined in the goals, so it is like the challenges defined the solutions that are searched. But mainly we're targeting industrial applications of artificial intelligence and data solutions, which also some of them have some user interfaces.
Okay, and we also have consumer-specific solutions like with Challenge 10, right? Apps for consumers. Questions about the form, how to delete a draft. You cannot delete the draft. We'll have it as a draft. We'll know you started it. Start another one, please, if you feel that your draft is not the one that you want to continue with. If you're asking in order to stop receiving notifications from us, you can unsubscribe as a user. you have the option on the platform, but the draft cannot be deleted. How to select CTF in challenge 19. We don't have challenge 19, neither with Chrome nor Edge browser. Please send us this issue with some print screens to the help desk. I don't think anyone has had it before, so we'll see how we can fix it. Can we post questions about the specific challenge 14 via email concerning the scope of the challenge? Yes, you can send some specific questions and we'll have our technical partners try to address them in a general, not indicative way of how you should align your proposal. Any documentation with details about CTF1 and CTF2 specifications? Just what you have in the technical guidelines.
Yeah, I think I answered this before. So it is something that you will be assisted with in the development. So just you need, for example, for the integration, you have to foresee that there will be an API exchange, or your solution should be receive exchange data with this let's say infrastructure which is external.
Okay, thank you, Stoyan. I got to the end, unfortunately. Okay, if data collection should be part of each proposal, or there are some challenges for which corresponding CTF have data collection already implemented and proposal should deal with data processing only.
Yeah, you will find both. You'll find both, yeah. So if you need to collect the information and deploy sensors, it's described in the scope.
Okay. In stage 4, business support, what activities and results are expected from us in this phase? For the 3 months business support, you will be having workshops and meetings with the business mentors, and the schedule will be set once the IMP is being designed together with all the mentors, and the results will be a deliverable that will be scored and validated for final payment, final tranche of payment.
Yeah, okay. I can complement this.
Yes, please.
In fact, to the different colleagues willing to participate to present their applications, these are business ideas. Okay, this is the goal of Cosmic. So you will be developing new solutions, products, services, and then in the end, of course, in the project, we will demonstrate how they add value to a potential market area, but they can be applied to much more. And so this business support is to help you, in fact, to put your product then available for the future and the different business models. So business support in this sense.
Okay, thank you.
But as it requires your active participation to final result, so this is like your work presented in the deliverable.
Exactly, and it's a mandatory stage to get the last tranche of the payment. Co-financing, yes, in kind, we already addressed that. In kind can be acceptable. We have a very elaborate question on how to get more detailed technical information on CTFs, like CTF4, in order to be more relevant. This CTF seems similar to an IoT platform. Many deep technical questions. My team would have to make sure we better estimate the level of efforts to integrate this CTF with our proposed solution. Can we initiate discussion regarding CTF4? In the slide shown today on CTF4, there is now a deliverable about NLP to improve user interactions, but the need for integrating an NLP solution or a ChatGPT style solution is not in the other requirement documents for this challenge. I don't know who is CTF4.
Yes, CTF4 is basically TPE platform. So first of all, NLP, which has been shown on the slide today, is not a deliverable. It's just an approach that you are going to use to develop your solution. And deliverables are already given in the challenge description and related to further technical information, for example, related to data harmonization and other parts, I think you can ask through help desk, and then the question will be directly referred to us. So I
Okay,
think it
that
will be
makes
like
sense,
this.
Afras.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Ty, can we please ask you to just copy paste this question so we have your email and the technical partner will address it in more detail. Regarding challenge 7, is it compulsory to develop both the apps for end users and building managers? Challenge 7 is user-friendly smart app for energy monitoring in multi-story building. That's you, Afras, right?
Yes. And can I see the question again?
It's is it compulsory to develop both the apps for end users and building managers?
Yeah. So I think we tried to answer in the previous webinar as well. So if you cover only one sub-challenge, then you will be funded accordingly. So it would be like that. Ideally, we look forward to the one who cover both aspects. But if you applied for the one sub-challenge and it would be really attractive, you cover all the aspects, then that can be considered, and but you will be budgeted accordingly.
Okay, thank you, Afras. The recording will be available on the project website. You'll be receiving it in the email as well as a participant to this webinar. And yes, the help desk is the only place to ask technical questions. You can also ask them in Discord, but that's an open community. Challenge 11 again, the proposed metrics seem highly ambitious. How will potential risks be managed if the short pilot period, 10 months, I suppose, does not provide sufficient time to achieve or clearly demonstrate the targeted outcomes?
Well, it has two sides of the question. So it's true that it is ambitious, but you have to, depending on what you're proposing, you have to consider the available time when you're composing your proposal. So it should be realistically possible to be done. If you start with something too ambitious, we will not have the capacity to tackle these issues in the time, because the time is what it is. So we have these 10 months. So you have to be realistic with what you suggest. So of course we would like you to be ambitious, but also realistic, and we're going to tackle the risks, and so by being available for the mentoring, and also by with the setting of different milestones and deliverables where we will monitor your progress. I hope this answers this.
Is there a way to export the template from the online application system? For applicants, no. I think we can do that back end. But Agnieszka, please take a note, and maybe we can share the Word template with the email Virgil is sending after the webinar with the recording and the slides. Is this a one-time submission, or will the submission to Cosmic be recurring annually? Cosmic is a 36 months project. We started in January this year. We have 2 open calls. So this one is the first out of 2. The second one will be launched next year, 2026. And the challenges may be different from what we have presented today, the 17 challenges. Is there an open proposal challenge track, or they are all thematic? No open challenge.
They are thematic, yeah.
Yeah, they are all thematic. Yeah, 17.
You
just
cannot
as you see
invent your own project, suggest your own idea. So it is not appropriate for this.
Exactly. This is a challenge-based call.
Mm.
Again, challenge 14. It is stated the solution must be open source. This is the only challenge where this requirement is stated. Is it a hard requirement or a nice to have? Challenge 14.
Well, it is Actually, yeah, we are related to challenge 14. So it is because as I said, this it will be is a partial solution, so that will be integrated in a bigger one. So should be available for testing and also yeah, probably Anka, I received some questions about the intellectual property right and these things. So it's of course if the solution that is brought by you will be intellectual property of the company. So if it to the extent it is not combined with intellectual property of other. For example, if you require some things from the CTF, so this will also have something. But I think what is important is that that as we are targeting more complex solutions. So, for example, this solution could be integrated with another solution for global optimization or for more global service, like is in this case, because there are two. There will be another challenge, or is another part of the solution that will be integrated with this. So this requirement of open source is for facilitate the integration, but as you have to bear in mind that although the intellectual property right is yours, you should make available this solution for use during the whole project. So this means beyond your implementation, because it will be integrated with solution that comes in the second period. So it should be tested with it as well. So, or the other solution might need your solution to be tested in a more complex environment. So this is.
Stan, sorry to interrupt. We're running out of time, but we'll include these questions in the frequently asked questions document, and we'll elaborate the answer there as well.
I think, Anka, this is if you had something, I think this is important issue. Probably others
on IPR,
could be responding, but this, yes, because some of the proposals might be conditioned to this, and this should be clear.
Exactly. Thank you, Stan. Can the TRL of 3.4 already be reachable without the CTF? The TRL 3 is mandatory to start with, so it goes without saying that it was reached without the CTF. That's my understanding. If anyone else wants to add something, and then to reach 3RL 6, 7 by the end of the project, I believe it's at your discretion if you're going to use the CTF or not, but the condition stays the same. The level of sophistication of TRL elimination factor. I don't know what you mean by level of sophistication. TRLs are defined by the Commission. TRL 3 is the minimum to start the proposal. The for-profit, the total project of 150 to contribute 30%, the remaining from Cosmic would be 150. I'll make this answer very short. To get 150, if you are a for-profit, you get only 70%, so your total budget should be around 210,000 euros. I lost the questions. Okay, I have to leave. Email my colleague. We'll copy your email, of course. Thank you. A very clear presentation regarding budget. SME owner working the project and not receiving a salary as employed by receiving compensation, not unemployed, can be accounted. Yes, it can be accounted in personal cost. You have to abide by national legislation. We don't ask for contracts or employment timesheet. It's personal as far as I'm concerned, if it's in line with your national legislation. Clarify IPR. We are going to tackle that in more detail in the FAQ document. Should team in the proposal state exact person names? No, you can just state the role. Python programmer, one team member. Python programmer will be enough, not exact name. Timeline per stage, it has been discussed. 4 stages, 1 month, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So that's 3 stages for 3 months and 1 of 1 month. But the funding be awarded in stages as commented. sharing your last year's annual report. Yes, you'll be asked in the formal check to submit balance sheets from the previous 2 to 3 years. Who will be in the jury day? The selection committee made up of all the partners that you see here and some others that are not present today. Do we have to complete the budget together with a 30% co-financing? You estimate your budget on your actual expenses and you'll get a total. So the co-financing will be applied if you are a for-profit automatically. Any limit for the working plan, starting and ending dates of this 10-month plan. It's restricted to 10 months, estimated from March 2026 to December 2026. So your objectives have to be compliant with this duration. Okay, we are running out of time and we still have some more questions, some about co-financing, some about eligibility, and some technical. We are going to take all these questions to the partners where we don't have the answers ourselves from Funding Box, but you will find them, for sure you'll find them replied in the frequently asked questions document, and we are going to share that with you by email, and you're going to find it also on the project website and the application form platform. I'm very sorry we cannot address all of them, but I would like to get to say some final words and ask you for 2 seconds to reply to our last one question poll. Here on the screen, you see all the contacts that you may need in order to address other aspects that were not covered today. I would like to thank you all for your presence today and your great interest in Cosmic. I will leave the final words to Adrian from Inetum. I think you're muted.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for joining. Hopefully we've managed to solve many of the questions that you have unanswered. As always, we'll keep answering questions, and you have there all the contacts needed to complement. We thoroughly encourage you to fulfill your application. This would be a very exciting project to be part of, and we see it every day, and we hope that you can join us in the best possible way. And so always thank you so much for joining. We know that it's hard to be here like two hours listening to information. It's a lot of information to go through, but please, at any point, if you have any questions, please ask us, and we'll be glad to get back to you as soon as possible.
Exactly. We know the deadline is close, so we are going to take very little time to answer your questions, and you will find the answers in the next few days. And thank you for replying to the poll. You will be submitting. That's great. We have 62% of people that are going to submit from the people present today. That's great news.
Very good news.
Yeah, exactly. And the others are maybe, so no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent news. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next stages of this road to the support program.